Welcome to another edition of AEW programming, where the booking is all over the place and the tag rules are non-existent. Just like the Sacramento Kings' chances of getting back to the NBA Finals. I'm John Rankin with my review of AEW Dynamite from the Sacramento Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, California. On the way to Revolution, speaking of Revolution, my predictions are going to be coming up right after this review goes up. And yes, you may be noticing that this review is going up hours earlier than usual, because due to a differing work schedule this week, I was able to watch Dynamite live. And oh boy, what a week I was able to watch Dynamite live. Oh boy, fucking howdy. I may have some positive things to say, but some of the criticisms that I have had over the last number of weeks and months still hold true. Tony Khan doesn't know how to fucking book a show. This show shouldn't have had an overrun. They should have decided, hey, we need to actually segment this thing properly, because there were segments that went on for fucking ever. They could have had easily 3 to 5 minutes cut off. I'm not saying the show should have ended earlier, but, well, nevertheless. So, we have Excalibur, Ian Riccaboni, and Taz on commentary. And I love Ian Riccaboni. He did his best here. Taz is good when he has somebody good to work with. Excalibur, I'm sorry. He's in over his head. He's stumbling. He's mumbling. He doesn't make any sense. He cannot do this. So, MJF is in the alleyway. He's got a bullet with a name on it, and it's Hangman Adam Page. Okay. By the way, I do want to say one positive. I like the look of the venue, even though it's an auditorium where plays happen and stuff like that, and, small concerts for bands. I actually like the look. I don't know why they need to have pyro. I think they could have done without that, but yeah. So Shivani brings out Swerve and Nana, and then brings out Ricochet. And a Philadelphia Eagles cap that a friend of mine pointed out, he didn't bother to take the sticker off. So he either just bought the thing, or he's a bigger fucking doofus than we all thought. Which, a lot of people think he's a big fucking doofus. Can't win an argument on Twitter, even against a corpse. So they're in the main event tag, but they're doing this contract signing, and if they had just actually done this and done something else for the tag match, I might have not minded it. But Ricochet he sounds like a doofus, and I guess that's the point, but here's the thing. It's not a doofus look where I want to see him get beat up. I'm just like, no, this guy's an idiot. I wasn't into this. Swerve seemed off. So, Samantha did get mentioned. I think Samantha Irvin is going to be coming in possibly as a manager for Ricochet, and best of luck to her. She's got a singing career going, but I don't know how well that's going to work. So then Ricochet tries to scissor Swerve, but Swerve scissors back. Second most violent scissoring I've seen between two men on camera. You don't want to know about the first or how that can actually physically work. So Ricochet got stabbed, which, again, the scissor thing is stupid. It's been stupid from the beginning. It has gotten somehow dumber. It gets dumber by the main event. AEW pay-per-views can now be bought through Amazon Prime Video, which is probably how I will be viewing them, because Amazon actually is a pretty good app to use. So we have Will Ospreay, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and Powerhouse Willa Hobbs in an 8-man tag against Brian Queef. I know his name's Brian Keith, but if he's going to be with Jericho, then he deserves an insulting name. Lance Archer, Brian Cage, who looks ridiculous, and not in a funny way, just looks ridiculous, and Mark Davis. And Callis is on commentary. He did get involved at one point, trying to do some moves. Callis was always a lousy wrestler anyway, and he isn't a much better manager. And here's the thing. I wouldn't have minded this, except from the moment Ospreay made his entrance to the time we got to the aftermath. It was a good 25 minutes, maybe 30, but I'd say at least 25. And it should have gone 15. Everybody just did shit. Why have a ref? Why do any of this? And it's an issue I have in WWE, I have in New Japan. I don't mind if people get their shit in. But I don't care about any of the stuff with Mark Davis and him being conflicted, being part of the Callis family. Ospreay pins Brian Queef. Hooray. And then the heels destroy the faces. They slam Hobbs on some steps. And a sleeper gets locked on Will, and then Fletcher shows up. And Fletcher needs to pick a goddamn look and stick with it. It is getting ridiculous. It is like a fucking running gag now at this point. Once I noticed that he kept changing his look once he shaved his head, even a month after he shaved his head, I could have understood trying new things. But god damn it. I mean, god damn it. Just freaking pick a look and stick with it. So, Mark Davis didn't want to hit Will with a chair, but hit Will with the chair. I went over this a lot quicker than they did. I think Will and Fletcher actually can have a pretty good cage match, provided they keep the outside weapon usage to a minimum, but Jesus, this went forever. A package on Omega and Takeshita, which is fine for what it was. I don't know why Takeshita does people's eyebrow in his graphic, but nevertheless. So, they had Yuta enter from outside the building and walk among the fans. He should have sat among the fans. There are people that like Yuta, and I'm not saying that Yuta's a bad guy. I actually think that Yuta probably is a nice guy, and I'm sure that he has a place on the roster. The place on the roster for him is nowhere near the main event spot, or in the main event mix that they have him in. Sure, he's a flunky. They can find a flunky that's more fucking believable. This is like watching Mike Von Erich after he died, or Chris Von Erich after he died, trying to be a wrestler. Or like Eric Watts, who always wrestled like he was fucking dead. Or David Flair. It is actually embarrassing that they keep featuring Wheeler Yuta. They got Hobbs and 8-man tags. Even Mark Briscoe, who at this point really doesn't mean as much as he should. Yes, he's beat up, from the years and years in Ring of Honor and on the Indies and stuff like that, but after the stuff with Jay, the unfortunate passing, and that stupid bitch that ended up killing him, because she was a dumb, drunk bitch, and I wish and hope she suffered horribly. But that being said, you have these other people that could be featured, and they focus on Wheeler fucking Yuta, this mop-top, pencil-neck dweeb. This moronic motherfucker that has no business being involved in a mainstream wrestling company at this level. They have tried for years. It has not worked. It will never work. None of us will live long enough for Wheeler Yuta to be important to this company. But Moxley seems to think so, and Khan will not relent on this or something. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe Wheeler's a really nice guy. Okay, have him go get you drinks and have him just bring that backstage. I mean, he's better than Brandon Cutler, but dear God, I've shat things out that were better than Brandon Cutler. But God damn it, they had him against Copeland. Okay, they're having this thing where Copeland's been taking out the members of the Death Riders. He took out Pac, he took out Claudio, Willow took out Marina Shafir, and now it should have been a 3-minute squash. This is where you should have cut everything down, had a squash, had a destruction. Just beat the shit out of them. No, it was a competitive match for no reason. I don't care if Wheeler can do all the moves. It's embarrassing to watch him go toe-to-toe with a guy that has main evented WrestleMania, that has done some good stuff in AEW. None of it recently, but he's done some good stuff. And it's Copeland's business. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's already had a second lease on life with his career and being able to come back and do whatever. So I got no hate towards him. But you cannot tell me that this was beneficial. This went forever, for goddamn ever. He got near falls. He got close calls on goddamn submissions. And then a spear for 3. And then a handshake. That's what respect feels like. Because they want to try and feature, goddamn you. It's like the shit they did with Garcia. Garcia at least kind of looks like a fucking athlete, even though he's small. Wheeler Yuta is goddamn tiny, and his hair dominates him. And it's like the sheepdog in that Looney Tunes cartoon. I won't relent on that, except the sheepdog was fucking tougher. And that's kind of funny because it's a fucking animated sheepdog that wasn't actually real. 16 minutes of this shit. Actually, it almost went 18 minutes, because then Mox shows up and got upset and told him off and said, yeah, keep on walking, leave. Hey, I'm all alone and everything, Cope, so... You won't have, you'll want to pull the trigger a bunch of times. I'll only have to pull the trigger once. And God, I feel like pulling the damn trigger and pulling a Chris or Kerry Von. I feel like doing something rather than watching all this Death Rider stuff. This is bad. This is really bad. And I'm going to call out WWE for doing a bunch of bullshit and not even focus on a lot of New Japan. If AEW is going to continue to do this stuff, and I think I know what they're going to do for Revolution. I'll talk about that in my predictions, but God damn it. An Outrunners pre-tape, straight out of the Legend of Billie Jean playbook. Actually pretty nice right there. And they at least have been invested in the gimmick. They get a tag title shot this Sunday. MJF then is still in the alleyway. Hangman shows up in the goofy truck. And he runs, they get in the building, And then suddenly Hangman somehow gets hold of MJF. But it's not MJF. It's somebody that says, he made me do it. How'd you not know it was him, you fucking idiot? Whatever. He outsmarted him. Because Hangman can't tell the difference between a guy that's just dressed like MJF and actually MJF hits him. They get in a brawl and everything, and then eventually he ends up getting the advantage, MJF does, and knocks him down and knocks some security down. Indie wrestling security, you never fail to disappoint me. And I know that's the whole point. They're supposed to be beaten up, but it's done way too often on every single show. And then he gets lighter fluid. Everyone stops him. I smelled lighter fluid. There's no way it would have smelled that bad. Like, at least like that far. Like, oh, we could smell it from here. I mean, he was going to set him on fire. But you like when he sets people on fire? How about when I do it? We don't condone what MJF did, and we will not be showing you the footage. I wish you weren't showing any goddamn footage, Excalibur, you sock-faced moron. And then, Lexi Nair interviews Ash Avildsen, who directed Queen of the Ring. Did a couple interview pieces for Jim Cornette's podcast. Tony Storm's in it, and actually they had a nice back and forth and everything. And, you know, Ash seems like a nice guy. I'm looking forward to seeing Queen of the Ring. I'm actually going to be seeing it on Friday. Due to the fact there's a lot of movies coming out, I got a lot of extra work, and that's as soon as I can see it. I'm just hoping for a good movie. I don't know how historically accurate it will be. Probably more so than the goddamn Iron Claw. Check out my review of that. I will say this much. At least it was nice that, you know, Tony seemed to be, you know, I don't want to say a little dialed down in the sense that, okay, she was having fun, but it was what it was. At least it was a nice plug for Queen of the Ring. And sponsored by Queen of the Ring is this next tag match. Thunder Rosa looking as only she can look. Statlander looking as only she can look. Megan Bayne, who needs to lay off the spray tan. She looks great. And Penelope Ford was also there. It's decent enough work. I'm still pissed at what Ford and Bayne did with Thunder Rosa, because that was a sabotage job. That was really goddamn bad. The referee should have stepped in a whole lot sooner. That was fucking bullshit. Rosa got 2-on-1 tag teaming at one point and got hit with an F5. So I think they're kind of done with Thunder Rosa. I actually kind of fear that they are, and I don't know why. She's somebody you absolutely could still feature. Possibly beat Mercedes for the TBS title. Good God, can somebody beat her for that title? But yeah, that was it. And I don't know what they're going to do with Rosa, and I fear they're just going to job her out, which I'm disappointed by. I'm a big fan of Thunder Rosa. What a fucking talent. Oh, Mercedes is talking. God, my mute button got stuck for some reason, because I'm not gonna listen to this stupid bitch talk the way she does, because she's not genuine, and I don't want to hear it. And it's not a character at this point. I just think that she is that much up her own ass that she's just going to do this stuff. And bless her. She's going to get a lot of money from Tony, gets to do her own thing. I don't fault her for that. I don't care about TBS title, but whatever. Caster's open challenge is answered by Jay White, who beats him and then says, I'm going to be in Copeland's corner. And he's probably going to turn on him, because he's upset that he hasn't been featured as well. At least I think that's the excuse he'll use. And then Renee sits down with Mariah May in a see-through shirt. I don't know if anybody knows that. And Tony Storm's there, and she spit on Tony and says, well, at least it's nice to know you still care. They go back and forth. And you don't deserve the dignity of death. This is what it's going to be like when you go against God. And they kind of need to go in a different direction with this. They need to have some finality here. But I'll talk about that in the spoiler, or in the predictions, that is. So Okada and Ricochet took on Brody King and Swerve. Okada and Brody are having a match at Revolution. Same with Ricochet and Swerve. And long overrun, like an 8-minute overrun for this goddamn match. Ricochet really doesn't bother to sell the cut on his head. Yeah, he has it, but I guess it wasn't deep enough. Rick Knox is a terrible referee and absolutely does not deserve to be on a main event stage or a big stage at all, because he's really, really bad. When you are unqualified to do something, you really shouldn't be fucking doing it. That goes from everything from wrestling to fucking politics. Now, a double foot stomp while Brody was holding up both of them was kind of nice. Why did this have an overrun? Ricochet didn't sell the cut at all. We got a stomp, which was stopped by an elbow drop. The Continental title got involved, but Brody took Okada out, and then Ricochet hit Swerve and covered him 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's fucking it. Mania week. The week after Mania. And then I'm reassessing how many more weekly shows I'm going to do constantly. It's getting painful. It's really getting painful. Any good that AEW does almost gets stamped out. I'll give them credit. They tried to build and push as much of the Revolution card as they could, but they're also taping Collision, and I'm not going to be watching that because I have to work that night and then early on Sunday because hooray, hours. So yeah, Revolution predictions coming up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rickland, and I'll see you soon.